Hello everybody, welcome to DVD and Film Bloke. I'm going to be doing my first ever Doctor Who review on the channel, and so this is a really interesting one. It's a box set, it's the beginning box set of course. This is the only box set I've got, by the way, which has, the stories continuing, because some of my other box sets, kind of mix some of the Doctors or even some of the stories up. Oops, sorry, I just hit my bin. For example, this one right here, which I recently got, Enter the Sandman, Still the Nemesis, actually, yeah. It's empty right now, but it's the fourth Doctor and the seventh Doctor. And so, let's begin with the review. So here's the front cover, BBC DVD, Doctor Who in shiny writing. William Hartnell is from the cover of the DVD of the Daleks. The beginning, an unearthly child of the Daleks on the edge of destruction. The first ever adventure, the first ever Doctor Who adventure come to DVD. Doctor Who adventures come to DVD plus exclusive bonus features. 3-disc set, 12. It is actually one of the cheaper ones, actually, because generally for ones which are 3 discs, they would usually charge about £12 odd, maybe £14 odd. I only got this for about £10, so job's a good one. Here's a side. Doctor Who, Callan Ford, sorry. The beginning, an unearthly child, the Daleks on the edge of destruction. Due to entertain, same thing on the side, top, bottom, and it's 12 because it contains one use of strong language. Here are the covers. An unearthly child. So I'll be reviewing that one first as my cushion falls over. But before I get to the actual review, let's just have a look at the front cover right here. BBC DVD, Doctor Who, An Unearthly Child. Callan Ford right there. So I keep bloody saying Callan John. Callan John was Lee Shaw. Anyway, PG. For some odd reason, on for many people who actually ordered this set when it was brand new, they would have a misprint version which has a U rating. But I've got mine about nearly a decade later, and it's a corrected version. William Hartnell. The William Hartnell years 1963 to 1966. His side. Black 1010 logo. There's the back photos right there. Starring William Hartnell, An Unearthly Child by Anthony Coburn. The first ever story of the world's longest running science fiction series comes to DVD for the first time. I'll read to you the bonus features actually. Commentaries are moderated by Gary Russell. The pilot episodes is Verity Lambert and Wally's husband. Episode 1, An Unearthly Child, by William Russell, Callan Ford and Verity Lambert. Episode 4, The Firemakers, William Russell, Callan Ford and Wally's husband. The pilot episode, an unheard 35-minute recording of the entire studio session from 1963, plus edited 25-minute version of the pilot. Theme music video, the full-length version of the original theme music, mono, stereo or 5.1 sound mixes, coupled with the original 1963 title sequence elements. Comedy sketches, 4 short sketches mostly themed around the early years of Doctor Who, including 3 by Mark Gatiss, The League of Gentlemen, and David Williams' Little Britain. Photo gallery, production subtitles, and digitally remastered picture and sound quality. It's there, directed by Verity, produced by Verity Lambert, directed by Ross Husband. Originally transmitted on BBC One between the 23rd of November and the 14th of December 1963. There it is. Then it runs for 130 minutes. PG. And not to be sold separately. Here's the disc. Right there. There's the booklet right here. I won't bother reading that. There's the inside. There's the back with the chapter stops. I'll read the blurb on the back of the box. Actually, Susan Foreman is a mystery to teachers Ian Chesterton and Barbara Wright, seeming knowing more than she should about the past and the future. Their curiosity leads them to follow her home one night, only to find her home appears to be in a discarded junkyard. In the junkyard, they discover a police telephone box, and a strange old man who claims to be Susan's grandfather and calls himself the Doctor. The journey of a lifetime is about to begin. So now to my overall thoughts and opinions on the story. It's really only worth it for the first episode, which is amazing. It sets everything up perfectly. First companion, first time we ever meet the Doctor. It's a historically important episode. In fact, I would, if you do just want to get it, just get it for the first episode. It was originally intended. The original story was originally intended to be Planet of Giants, which became the first story of the second season. But they decided to replace it with the Caveman story, which I'm alright with the Caveman story, but I just don't like the way it was executed. It did get a bit boring, a bit weird after a while. I think it needed really like an antagonist or something, and there wasn't really an antagonist to speak of in it. But it would have worked better if it was just the pilot episode, and if it was the original version, if it was the first episode. The first episode I would rate a 10 out of 10, but for the episodes that followed, I would unfortunately have to give them a 6 out of 10, 6 or 7 out of 10. Alright, but it just kind of fell to pieces. That's the problem with most of William Hartnell ones, is that the first couple of episodes are excellent, but then it just falls to pieces after a while. So, yeah. And then the next one is a much better episode in my opinion, The Daleks. But first I'll show you the cover art. BBC DVD, Doctor Who, The Daleks, picture of William Hartnell and surrounded by some Daleks, which is from the front cover of the set. 12, the William Hartnell years 1963 to 1966. Here's the side, to entertain. Here's the back. The Daleks written by Terry Nation. The Doctor is about to have his first meeting with the Daleks. 12, it runs for 174 minutes, and I'll just, not to be sold separately, and I'll read you all the bonus features. Commentaries moderated by Gary Russell. Episode 2, The Survivors, Verity Lambert, Chris Berry. Episode 4, The Ambush, William Russell and Caroline Ford and Christopher Berry. Episode 7, The Rescue by William Russell, Caroline Ford and Richard Martin. Creation of the Daleks, a documentary which looks at the origins and creation of the Doctor's most feared villains, the Daleks, with contributions from Verity Lambert, Richard Martin, designer Raymond Cusack, sound designer Brian Hodgson, original Dalek voice David Graham, and original Dalek operator Michael Simmerton. Photo gallery, production subtitles digitally mastered sound and picture quality. So, directed by Christopher Berry and Richard Martin, produced by Verity Lambert. The Daleks created by Tay Nation. Some of these all covers are designed by Clayton Hickman. This story was originally broadcast on BBC One Between, so you can't see that. The 21st of December 1963 to the 1st of February 1964. There's the disc. It's upside down for some reason. That's all the information in there. Inside. And the back. Whopping 7-parter. Actually the first ever 7-parter in Doctor Who. I'm trying to think, probably the only times I think they did do 7-parters were during the John Pertwee era. Particularly season 7. And they did quite a few during the Hartnell and Troughton era. Evil of the Daleks is a good example. So now to my overall thoughts and opinions on the story. My wish of there actually being a villain was fulfilled in the Daleks. Anyway, I'm sorry, I just need to read the back for it just a sec. The TARDIS lands on an alien planet. Perforated jungle, behold, which lies a mysterious deserted city. The Doctor insists on exploring, but before long the TARDIS crew all become experiences to the early effects of radiation sickness, and they discover that the metal city isn't as deserted as they first thought. So let me just get to my other thoughts and opinions on the story. I did think it's actually really good. Probably the best story in the set, actually. Probably that and An Unearthly Child. I know most people would generally disagree, and I can kind of see why, but this is probably one of my favourite 1960s Dalek stories. Although it's one of the few 1960s Dalek stories I've actually seen. I've mostly seen the ones from the 70s, and I've seen all the ones from the 80s, but I've not seen that many from the 60s. I do need to get more actually. And I need to get the audio CD of the Daleks Master Plan. But my only main problem with it is it drags a bit. I think it would have worked a lot better as a 6-parter than a 5-parter, which is quite strange, but it would have worked more as than 7-parters. For some reason, it seems to be anything that's not a 4-parter, with the exception of Genesis of the Daleks, always seems to drag. But I think they just want to stretch it out and also save money, actually. But yep, it's a good story, and I would suggest you check it out. And the final one is one which is considered a very underrated story, but I just don't like it that much. And that is The Edge of Destruction, a 2-parter. So here's the front cover, BBC DVD, Doctor Who, The Edge of Destruction. Barbara and Ian in the TARDIS. PG. The William Hartnell is 1963 to 1966. Side. At the back. The Edge of Destruction by David Whittaker. One of my favourite writers, but unfortunately this is not one of his better stories. Let me just read to you the bonus features actually. Doctor Who Origins, a 55-minute documentary dealing with the creation of Doctor Who, including a rare interview with creator Sidney Newman, and new interviews from producer Verity Lambert, director Willis Hudson and Richard Martin, actors William Russell and Caroline Ford, title sequence designer Bernard Lodge, and TARDIS sound effects created by Brian Hodgson. Over the Edge cast and crew. Look back at the production of The Edge of Destruction. Inside the spaceship, a look at the Doctor's time and spaceship, the TARDIS. Masters of Sound, a look at the BBC radiophonic workshop which they created sound and music during the Doctor Who's early years, featuring interviews with Dick Mills, Brian Hodgson, Verity Lambert, and the late Daily Derbyshire. Marco Polo, a 30-minute version of the lost fourth Doctor Who story, recreated using recordings of the soundtrack plus off-air screen stills and production photographs. PDF documents, a selection of radio time billing for the first 3 stories, plus the full script of An Unearthly Child, DVD-ROM, PC, Mac. Arabic soundtrack, a listen to the final episode of the story dubbed into Arabic. Production gallery, production subtitles, digital remastered picture and sound quality. Here's the back right now. The story was originally broadcast on BBC One between the 8th and the 15th of February 1964. Produced by Verity Lambert, directed by Richard Martin and Frank Cox. Information runs for about 47 minutes. PG, not to be sold separately. There's the disc. There's a little booklet that comes with it. Chap Scott's. And Marco Polo originally broadcast between the 22nd of February and the 4th of April 1964. I haven't watched that yet, and so I really do want to watch it. Let me just read the synopsis. Something has caused the TARDIS console to explode in mid-flight, plugging the ship into darkness and rendering the crew unconscious. As they slowly recover, they find themselves suffering from loss of memory and headaches. The TARDIS behaves oddly as the door opens and closes on their own accord, and the ship has positioned in some way or is something more dangerous happening to the time travellers. So, to my own thoughts and opinions on this story, I know everybody thinks this is a very underrated story, and I can kind of see why, but I just couldn't get into it personally. Despite the fact that it is a 2-parter, and usually a 2-parter would mean, it's very fast to get through, but it's just a bit boring, to be fair to you. I do like the bits on the TARDIS, however, and the concept for the plot, but it's just boring. It's mostly just characters just rambling on at each other, and William Hartnell being as grumpy as ever, which no one likes, except some people, but never mind. But I do like it, and I would rate it just average, but it's a bit of a bore, to be honest with you. If I was to go for a better 2-parter, I would personally go for something like the Centauran Experiment, or Black Orchid or something. I would personally go for one of them or something over this. It's just boring, to be fair to you. The one thing I do like about this particular DVD release, unlike the Centauran Experiment, which I do now have, is the Centauran Experiment on DVD cost me about £6.99, and it was a 2-parter. It only had a commentary and a documentary on it. That one's jam-packed with bonus features and is technically a lot cheaper because the box set was fairly cheap. In fact, it's probably the cheapest one the BBC's ever done so far. But it's just the story itself just a bit naff, actually. I'd personally rate it something like a 5 out of 10 or something. It's not the worst, but at the same time it's not the best. It doesn't suffer from the curse of the Hartnells, but it's just there are some things I do like about it. When particularly when when Susan threatens Ian with a pair of scissors after she's gone insane. That's usually the only bits I actually do like about it. But the rest of it's just a bit naff, to be fair. But yep, overall, really good box set. I would suggest that but I wouldn't suggest it as a beginning box set. You know, if you're just starting to get into buying Doctor Who, I probably wouldn't recommend getting that one first. I'd probably recommend getting one from, you know, the John Pertwee or Tom Baker era or something, but not that one, because I personally have something like Mannequin Mania actually as a beginning box set. But I got it set fairly early on. Let's say fairly early on. I had quite a few box sets beforehand. But overall, it's a really nice box set, and I would strongly suggest that you go out and get it if you get a chance to. It's only about £10 or so on HMV and online meaning Amazon, because the BBC have decided to be knobheads and shut down the BBC shop. Yeah. But overall, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.